Thanks for coming to WeCast. Hope you had a great time or are having a great time and you're watching this video here. This is the NetBait BaitFuel Finiki series. These are really neat baits. So as you know, American Bait Works, or might not know, American Bait Works has bought out NetBait, a couple other brands, and they are pumping out some really cool lures, especially in the soft plastic categories. Now last year they introduced the Blip Minnow, a couple other ones, and this is a continuation of some of the Hex Tech technology, as well as of course a continuation of a lot of the BaitFuel technology. So at the show here we've got 4 of the brand new products not even released yet. We're going to go through each one of them, of course talk about some rigging methods as well as kind of some unique ways to rig these. So, you know, I want to kick it off with probably one of the more unique worms here. This is going to be the prop shot. Now, this guy right here is going to come in at 6 1/4 inches, a very slender profile worm, but it also has the little prop at the end, very similar to something like a little mooch minnow tail that adds a little subtle action. Now, the profile of this worm overall, again, is going to be 6 1/4 inches long. However, it is a very slim-bodied worm. So if you want to rig this up on a Nico rig with the VMC crossover rings, for instance, you're going to need a very small crossover ring, probably in the 3mm, maybe 4mm variety. These here come in a pack of 10, a wide array of different colors, just like all the other baits here. Lots of different colors from these. The Nico rig is probably going to be one of my go-to techniques with this. You are going to need some very thin nail weights, so I would probably go with tungsten. This is also going to primarily probably be a very light line technique, so ranging anywhere from like 6 all the way up to maybe 10-pound fluorocarbon leader or straight fluorocarbon is going to be my go-to. Probably going to be fishing this on a spinning rod. Really anything can do. I would probably go with a little bit lighter if it were myself personally, anywhere from a medium light all the way up to maybe a medium. Length doesn't matter too much, especially on a Nico rig, because you can adjust the sink rate on these. Another great way to rig this is actually going to be on a small offset worm hook, anywhere from a 1/0 to a 2/0 on a Texas rig. This is going to be great dragging around as well as on a shaky head. Now this doesn't have the Hex Tech like these next baits do, so let's go ahead and probably hop into one of the more unique soft plastics here in the Finiki lineup, and this is going to be the Sonics shad. Now you're going to notice on the Sonics shad, if you took some pictures of it, it has a little bit more of a wedge tail on it. Now it's going to be a very small 2 3/4 inch profile, but it has this wedge tail here. So whether you're fishing this on a smaller jig head or you're fishing this on an A rig, it's going to give a different profile, action, and give you a little wider range of retrieve speeds that you can work this. Because of the wedge tail, at slower speeds, you're able to really kind of just crawl this along while that wedge tail just slowly goes. This is going to work great on a drop shot as well, whether you're kind of dragging it back, almost swimming it in, or again on a ball head or small underspin. This is going to be an absolute killer. If you like the Okashira screw head, this is going to be a huge player. That Okashira screw head in an 1/8 ounce is going to be easily fit on this bait here. The Hex Tech technology, you can smear any scent in there. It's going to stay in very well. Of course, BaitFuel, one of my favorites, Bait Pop, and that is going to be the Sonic shad. The next and last shad pattern we're going to talk about here is going to be the Sonics Glide. Now this one is very interesting. It says on the website and in the listing stuff, it's going to be great on a drop shot, absolutely. But when I saw this, what I immediately thought was this is going to be a great bait on a finesse free rig. Now this bait here, unlike the Sonic shad, it has this little almost just pintail, double pintail. This bait is going to have an amazing sidewinding fall in a clockwise or counterclockwise direction. So this guy right here on a very small like EWG hook, something like the Ryugi Infinity Hobbit series, this is going to be great on like a finesse Texas rig, a finesse Carolina rig. If you're into bait finesse, of course you can still fish this on a ball head or fish this in a forward-facing sonar manner. Crappie fishermen, this might also be kind of that top range of what you might throw. Again, this one is going to also be, 3-inch variety, a little bit bigger than the shad here. But this Sonics Glide is going to be just a hair smaller than that one there. But very, very cool. I love the plastic overall on these baits here. They stay together very well. I would suggest anywhere from a 1/16 up to a 1/8 ounce jig head. You can go heavier, drop shot this. You can do a whole lot of different rigging methods. A hover juggle would be another one where you stick your 90-degree hook in the back. I've already done that before, and it works really, really well, especially if you have a nail weight that has the bulb sticking out in the front. You can really work this across your forward-facing sonar. The last Finiki bait here is going to be the Sonics Pinch. Now, this is going to be a crawfish profile, very, very similar to like a Paca chunk with different pinchers. It is a very, very small bodied bait. This is going to be 2.5 inches. One notable thing about this bait, instead of pushing the head all the way out and having a full bulbous head where the eyes are raised up, this one actually really tapers down into almost nothing, and these claws really get a lot of good action. Tim already talked about a really, really finesse wobble head. This is, again, a very, very small profile. Of course, being in the Finiki lineup, for Finiki fish, smaller profiles are awesome. Of course, typically rigging this up, a Ned rig is going to be a #1 way to rig this, but a wobble head, finesse Carolina rig, this is going to be a really, really cool bait. Of course, does have the hex tech in this, so you can slather whatever scent you want to in these as well. So really, really neat stuff. The claws are very bulbous and big. Again, they have a ton of action on them. So make sure to check out the Finiki lineup from NetBait and BaitFuel, American Bait Works, when they come out later this year. Very cool stuff going on with them. So if you haven't given them a shot, definitely give these a try when they come out. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed WeCast.